Streaming now. Five seconds, councillors.
Welcome everyone to the Ordinary Council meeting of the Wellington Shire for the 19th of December 2023. Council members of the public gallery should note that Council records and publishes Council meetings via YouTube to enhance the accessibility of Council meetings to the broader Wellington community. These recordings are also archived and may be published on Council's website for viewing by the public or used for publicity or information purposes. At the appropriate times during the meeting, members of the gallery may address the Council, at which time their image, comments or submissions will be recorded. Members of the public who are not in attendance at the Council meeting but who wish to communicate with the Council via the online web form should lodge their questions or comments early in the meeting to ensure their submissions can be dealt with at the end of the meeting. Please could gallery visitors, councillors and invited online attendees ensure that mobile phones and other electronic devices are turned off or in silent mode for the duration of the meeting. Wellington Shire Council acknowledges our offices are located on the traditional lands of the Gunai-Kurnai Nation. We pay our deep respects to their elders, past, present and future, and acknowledge their ongoing cultural and spiritual connections to their land and waters. Welcome everyone in the gallery. Any apologies tonight? There are none. Declarations of conflicts of interest, is there any? No? Confirmation, adoption of minutes of the previous council meeting. Could I have someone to move that, please? Councillor Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council adopt the minutes and resolutions of the Ordinary Council meeting of the 5th of December 2023.
And seconded by Councillor Rossetti. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Happy with that, Councillor Wood?
Thank you, Mayor.
Item 4, business arising from previous meetings. There are none. Item 5, acceptance of late or urgent items. There are none. Item 6, notices of motion. There are none. Item 7, I believe we have some people in the gallery with outstanding petition for Cabane's feedlots. Would you like to address the council? Just if you come up to the lectern and just state your name, and you have 3 minutes to address the council.
Good evening. My name's Rod Doak. I live at Cabanes, on Cabanes Estate Road. Yes, and I was asked to come along by the rest of my neighbours tonight because I wasn't aware of that this was on before. So, yeah, but I am aware of the problems that they have with the feedlot they're concerned about. Yeah, and the only thing I was wondering, like, first of all, was had there been a proposal put forward for that particular feedlot to the Shire or not?
Rod, we don't do question and answer here. If you ask the questions, we'll actually reply to you officially to give you some answers.
Oh, so I can't ask you a question?
No,
But what we can do, there have been some updates. Andrew Pomeroy is our General Manager of Development, so after the meeting or after this, depending on when you want to do it, Andrew can give you that, because there's a couple of updates that we can provide you with today, but we don't normally do that as a Q&A thing, as the Mayor said. This is for you to talk to us for 3 minutes about issues and things.
Yeah.
No worries.
Right, well, I'll just make it pretty simple then. The feedlot with the planning of Victoria, and under the planning of the Victoria, the feedlot scheme, right, specifically mentions that the feedlot must not be within 300 metres of someone's house. Now, there's houses there that are 25 metres, there's other houses that are 30 metres, 35 metres. There's been total disregard of that particular element of the code. And now, the other thing is, I don't know if the Ag Department's following their own code or not, but they should be, because it was written by the Minister of Agriculture and a large member of committee people associated with cattle, for a start. Now, that's one of the main concerns of my neighbours and myself, in case one could spring up next to me as well. which there has been one, but it's not running very well at the moment. The other thing is there's a certain amount of elements that have to be addressed in the proposal to the Shire. And if any of those elements aren't fulfilled or there's a question, it has to go back and be looked at. And I don't think that any of the conditions in the code have been looked at, because one of the other main conditions is the distance from any road, 200 metres from any road, and it's right on the Ben Warden Road for everyone to see. The other problem that we've got is the Minister for Water, right, Victoria, she'd done a study of the lakes and the wetlands. Her first problem that she came up with that she could find that was a main concern and cause for the nutrient overload and the problem with the lakes was a failure to mitigate improper use of the land surrounding the catchments. And as you can see, you know, they're not very far from the lakes. They're not far from the catchments. All the drains run in there. You know, as the crow flies, are only a couple of kilometres. That was the major problem that the Minister for Water found with the lakes. And if these feedlots are allowed to continue, I think the Shire is complicit in that number one problem for a start, as well as forgetting about their ratepayers and the stinks and the smell and the problem they have to put up with, not mentioning the primary school. I don't know how many children are there, but I can guarantee you in the summer, from my experience, all those kids running around with snotty noses, if their parents knew that there was flies coming from that feedlot onto those kids' faces, noses and ears, transferring any disease that can come from any of the water laying around or the manure, you'd have 600 people here tonight, not just 4. You know, I think there's a lot more to look at it than just a feedlot that someone just happened to put in without any authority. I don't know if that's 3 minutes or not. Do I get any more time or not?
Yeah, no, that's probably great, Rod. I don't know if there's anyone else that wants to speak from the gallery before I... Yeah, maybe if Jeff comes up now. Just state your name, Jeff, and then I can give you a bit of an update as well.
Yeah, Jeff Nineharden. I always represented the thing last time. The other concern we've got is it's double standards by the EPA. Like, the EPA will, on one breath, they've built a house on this property, they make them put an environmental septic system in because of impact to the ground level water. It's very high in that area. And then 50 metres away, the EPA come in and make them dig a pit into the ground water level to hold manure and runoff, which is enhancing everything and putting shit straight into the bloody water table. And then when we've had another lot of rain and I've rang them up and complained, that's it. No one comes out, no one does anything. You know, and then we've got the other issue down the road further from more Bolton, same feedlots, whereas Graham Blanks has had to block his dam off because of runoff from their paddock contaminating his dam. Now he's had to block his own dam off, and out the front of his place is just brown and shit from all the runoff, but the other side of the hill, it runs straight down into Lake Cakedra, into the Gippsland Lakes. You know, like there's 2 or 3 paddocks there, it runs straight down into it. And but to me, it just seems like the EPA just said, whether it's too hard or they're only interested in smoke and industrial buildings burning, I don't know. But it just needs to be looked at, you know, at a further level. So if I can get some advice off you blokes, we'd much appreciate it.
Yeah, so just to follow on, is there anyone else in the gallery that wanted to speak? Or no, it's pretty good.
Thank you.
What we've done, just for an update, and feel free to grab Andrew outside as well for a bit more, we take these matters seriously, and we have wrote back to the head petitioner on the 11th of December, but what we are doing as per that letter said, we're waiting on some advice still from some of these government departments. And we are following it up further, and we'll come back to you in the new year with more findings. But it is a process we have to go through, but we're definitely working hard on that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but if you want to catch Andrew, by all means, and he can give you a bit more of an update as well. Yep. Thanks very much. Item 8, invite addresses.
Do they need to wait for the rest of the meeting?
They know they don't have to wait for the whole meeting. They may leave if they want. And grab Andrew if you want. You don't have to sit around.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Item 8, invite addresses, presentations or acknowledgements. Do we have any? Councillor Denison.
Thank you, Mayor. I've actually got a couple of acknowledgements. Last Thursday, I was invited to meet with Minister Horn, Minister for Roads and Road Safety, in Traralgon by the Department of Regional Transport, Transport Planning and something else. So throughout the meeting, we had the opportunity to do some workshopping and provide some information back to the Minister. Key seats priorities came through in the workshop with the group that I was working with. So the things we put back to the Minister included the Mitchell River Bridge duplication and roundabout duplication and improvements at Pensdale. The one key one for Wellington, the Sale alternate truck route, the roundabout at the Macarthur Sale Road, which is a really important project for us. Discussion on the delays with the Traralgon bypass, which has been held off in the planning since 2019, so making sure the Minister was aware that there is still a strong community desire for a bypass at Traralgon. Most of our major towns have been bypassed, Maui, Mall, Pakenham, even the Sale alternate truck route, but Traralgon, which is now a bottleneck for traffic, hasn't been bypassed. And the final one that we pushed from a seats perspective was issues with lower speed limits west of Longwarry that have been, the speed limits that have been reduced. And Minister Horn had travelled down earlier in the day and was well aware of those low speed limits. One of the other key issues that we did raise during the day with Department of Transport staff was the landslips on the Traralgon-Yarram Road. And they're certainly aware of it. I'm not sure that they're sure how, that they know what they're going to do to deal with it, but it's something that the Minister is now aware of as well. So that was our meeting last Thursday. And also, last Tuesday, we had the privilege of playing in the Sale Golf Club Pro-Am. Myself and Councillor Mackenzie represented the Shire with aplomb, and Councillor Mackenzie finished second for his group, which was good. The Pro-Ams ran last week. The Macarthur Pro-Am, the guys did a great job out there under trying circumstances. It rained throughout the night and early in the day. And I know, talking to Johnny Scott, the curator out there, he had to move a few of the holes where the greens had water in them prior to play in the morning, so they had to delay play. So the Macarthur Pro-Am went ahead on Monday as planned, which was a real credit to them. The Sale one was on Tuesday, which they had 176 people took place, with 72 in the morning and 104 in the afternoon, which was a lot of players, and they had 49 pros that played, so they were here for most of the week. And the Yarram Pro-Am was held on the weekend, which I think they had 65 in the morning and 78 or something in the afternoon. So really successful. A lot of people coming from all over the place to play in those Pro-Ams, so a great effort, and congratulations to our middle of everywhere staff that have brought forward these projects and brought a lot of people back into our town.
Well said, Councillor Tattison. Is there anyone else that... Councillor Ripper.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Saturday morning, myself and the Mayor attended the Keith Hamilton Sale and District Toy Run, which was hosted by the Red Knights Sale Motorcycle Chapter, and they were riding around out to Macarthur and all out around, I think, through Hayfield, and ended up back in Sale, collecting toys and allowing young and old people to see their motorbikes. And the beauty of that was they had 4 police motorcycles, which as escorts, which I believe we have 2 here in Sale, and that was very, very good PR. There was some young people talking to the police, and the communication with the police, with the young people, augured very well. I'm sure maybe they may become police or just aware that they can talk to the police if they're in trouble. Also, I want to an acknowledgement. Every fortnight when I come into council, I come in past 2 schools with school crossing supervisors. Now, for the past 12 months, we've had 23 school crossing supervisors. They make sure, I observe, that the children get across the road, there's always a smile, and also mothers or fathers with prams and little kiddies on little bicycles. They just make sure that they get across the roads safely, because they're our future, these young kiddies. So I'd just like to give a special shout out and a special thank you to those school crossing supervisors. And also, to be very remiss of me, talking of school crossing supervisors, not to, at the end of the year, to thank the staff for all that they have done for the Shire during the year. They go above and beyond, doing lots of things that we have no idea. Sometimes their time span is not what they'd want to. They have to get answers yesterday. And also to those that were involved in the challenging floods, 2 floods and fires. So could I have the CEO and the managers please pass on to the staff our thanks for what they do for us and for the greater community of the Wellington Shire. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ripper. Councillor Mackenzie. Microphone, please.
Yes, the one. I wish to acknowledge the 30th anniversary of the Locksport Public Hall and Community Resilience Award 2023. Along with Councillor Gary Stevens and Denny O'Brien MP, it was a pleasure to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Locksport's Public Hall on Saturday, December 9. While the weather was a little overcast, the hall looked fantastic, and a real credit to the Committee of Management for the care that all Locksport can enjoy. The celebration was well attended, with all signing a time capsule that will be open on the 50th anniversary, along with the planting of a tree by Peter McMahon, whose parents actually built the hall 30 years ago. A truly memorable and proud moment. It's been a week of great acknowledgement for the Committee of the Hall, with not only the 30th anniversary, however, at the recent Neighbourhood House AGM, representatives of the Locksport Public Hall received the award for Community Resilience 2023 from Tony Halloran Lavelle and presented to Eleanor Speed, Ren Renahan and Hall Manager Rachel Mulder. This award was the result of the hard work in creating the Locksport Resilience Guide Map in conjunction with Wellington Shire Council and Emergency Recovery Victoria. A great week for celebration and acknowledgement to the community of Locksport. A huge well done. And that was the actual information flyer that they put out for Locksport. Secondly, Mayor, Port Albert transformed. 3 years ago, community leaders met with council management and councillors, both Maher and Mackenzie, to brainstorm ideas to transform Port Albert. 3 years on, the changes to Port Albert have been many and varied as such. Seating along Christopher Robinson Walk, tables and chairs at the end of Wharf Street, the harbour and looking out towards Wilson's Promontory. Seating along the harbour, lighting along the boardwalk, concrete paths from Wharf Street, Victoria Street, Tarraville Road and Raglan Street. Success of the asphalt street scheme. Upgrade of the children's playground in Rudder Park. The Boy Project. Removal of seats and tables in Rudder Park. The upgrade of the Port Albert Hall thanks to the grant secured by the Latrobe Valley Authority. The completion of the bike trail from Alberton to Port Albert, and recently the completion of a new toilet block in Port Albert, just opened for December. All up 11 projects in the last 3 years. With this transformation, Port Albert is now ready for the next generational change, being the offshore wind development. And I'd like to take this opportunity to send my sincere thanks and congratulations to the Build and Environment team and my fellow councillors for supporting these initiatives and assisting in making Port Albert a place to live, work and play. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Mackenzie. Anyone else got any acknowledgements, presentations? No? I'll have a couple. I'd just like to acknowledge the great event that Esso did with the Esso Community Festival. It was a shame that we actually had a lot of rain like we have had recently, but Esso is a great contributor to our community. It was still well received. There's quite a few thousand people drifted through the rain and still had a great time with their children. It's also been a partnership with Lions. 50 years ago, they partnered with Lions to actually start doing Christmas hampers to people in need around Christmas time. 50 years is a long time. I believe, speaking to the Esso personnel and the Lions representatives, that the 50-year process is the longest in the world with Esso, with non-profit organisations in 50 years straight. So that is a real credit to Esso and Lions Club for having that partnership and doing a great job at Christmas time. So I congratulate both on achieving 50 years and the longest in Esso's history as well. I'd also like to acknowledge our emergency services, in particular fire brigades. Santa's amazing this time of the year where he can jump from fire truck to fire truck in our communities and actually travel around and go to different events. It was interesting when I was at home on the weekend and I could hear a fire truck and I thought, where's the fire nearby? It wasn't the fire truck with a fire, it was actually Santa on the back going around the Sale community. They even had an interactive live map of where Santa was coming from. So a real credit to Santa to jump on the fire trucks and spread a bit of love before he does the present run. And thank you to our wonderful fire brigades for the initiative to actually invite Santa to come along. Item 9, questions on notice. Do we have any? Item 10.1, Mayor and Council's Report, November 2023. Can I have someone to move that, please? Councillor Crosley.
I'm happy to move that. Ho, ho, ho. I move that the Mayor and Councillors' Report be noted.
And seconded by Councillor Wood. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Crosley.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to highlight a few of the many events, many and varied. Firstly, acknowledge the very important 16-day of activism event. There were 2 events that councillors attended, and that was to be awareness and have conversations about violence against women and children. And it was a really interesting way of approaching it in asking people that came to the event and general bystanders and shoppers to engage with thinking about what actually respect meant to them, and they were encouraged to write a sign to that effect. And those signs were, people, if they wanted to, were photographed with those statements and encouraged to share on the various socials. And I thought it was a very innovative way of getting that message through what is the usual way of conversations now is through social media, and that whole program went throughout Gippsland, which all shires engaged in. So I think that was a really interesting, engaging way of approaching a very difficult question, and something that we need to address, particularly in Wellington Shire and other Gippsland shires, as being poor achievers in these ever-increasing rates of violence against women and children. On a more cheerful note, was the Great Victorian Bike Ride was stabled in the Shire for, is it three days? Unfortunately, the weather was a bit like today, inclement, but that didn't deter them from being engaged. And I also acknowledged that the Mayor became part of the team to be the courtesy bus driver so that the riders could engage with our various facilities and spend in the Shire, which they did, which was great. Another one I'd like to point out is the One Gippsland. Just like when we have our mayoral elections across the Shire, the One Gippsland elects their chair, and I'd like to acknowledge the importance that Mayor Bai was elected chair.
Thank you.
on the 24th of November, and that's a crucial role because the One Gippsland is the group that of the 6 shires, mayors and CEOs that gather together to do regional plans and also advocate at all levels of government and take visits up to Canberra annually to state the case for all of Gippsland. So an important role and a pivotal role for our mayor to be at the helm. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Crosley. Item 11, Delegates Reports. Do we have any Delegates Reports? Councillor Crosley.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to speak to the annual report that I think I shared a link round through to my colleagues of the GCCN 2023 annual report, which was received at the AGM last Wednesday on the 13th. It's actually, I'm council delegate, but I'm also the chair of the organisation, and I was re-elected as chair at the AGM.
Congratulations, Councillor Crosley.
Very honoured. And Wellington Shire has a good footprint on the organisation, as Darren McCubbin, our previous councillor and previous mayor, is the very active CEO. I'd just like to point out a couple of the successes, but also point out that since its inception in 2007, it actually has grown to be, this is the second year that we've had a $1 million turnover in the organisation, net, not profit. But that's really due to the partnerships and the increasing responsibilities that we've received, funding both from the LVA, the Latrobe Valley Authority, and from the Victorian Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Action to host Gippsland-wide coordinators and responsible officers in the environment and new energy sector. We host the coordinator of the Gippsland Alliance for Climate Action, which has the combined East Gippsland, Latrobe, South Gippsland, Wellington and Baw in that coordinating committee of sustainability officers to look at both influencing policies through the Alliance, the Victorian Alliance, and also implementing Gippsland-wide projects, one of which has been the rollout of the EV chargers. So it's having a focus, a regional focus across boundaries, which is always a good thing. And the other one was having Michelle Isles, which was our senior advisor for new energy, and her role was in coordinating and working closely with Kirsten Powell, which is our economic development team member that's working in that space, to deliver the New Energy Conference and also the Gippsland New Energy website. So that was a year's contract with LVA, and that's been completed, and those tasks were completed. The other thing is I'd like to point out is that we've had a number of actually successful projects, but programs that go across boundaries again, and I'll just find my page here, where are we? And that has a great impact, that we've had 4 EV expos and there was 1,000 visitors across the 4, and probably the most successful was and had the best weather, was the community day of part of the 4th day of the Gippsland New Energy Conference, which was out here and supported with
Iberdrola.
Iberdrola, I was to put a T in, Iberdrola. The other one is that we've had this engagements with our new energy trailer, which actually encourages students to understand the opportunities and the understanding of new energy and how it works. And over the year, we've engaged with 820 students and 1,580 communities at community markets and sustainability events, as well as going to jobs expos and directly into schools. So it has a diverse range of activities. And also in Wellington, the last one we had, which was a shared project with Wellington, was the Bryagalong Pony Club, which we have tested the opportunity of reusing solar panels to have a standalone off-grid with batteries to give them power for the first time in their facility. So a range of activities, and I encourage you to read the document. There's 33 pages or something, so I'm not going to go through all of it, but just to say that it's a really important organisation, and we have a really strong relationship with the Wellington Shire and the officers, and strong relationship, as I say, with the new proponents as well, with strong engagement there. And I just think that it's important to have that independent voice that the community can look through to in this process of transitioning to new energy. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Crosley, and congratulations again on your re-election. Well done. Item 12.1, Chief Executive's Officer Report, November 2023. Someone to move that, please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Stevens.
Yes, I'd like to move that the Chief Executive Officer's report be received.
And seconded by Councillor Marr. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Stevens.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I think it's always really interesting to read the Chief Executive Officer's report, which is, I think I've said this before several times, shows the wide range of activities that we undertake at Council. And of course, our Chief Executive Officer is at the forefront of advocating on behalf of the Council and our Council residents on a whole range of different activities, everywhere from community members through to ministers, other senior officers in state and federal government, you name it, we do it, and the CEO gets involved in it. So thank you, Mr. CEO, for your ongoing work. We do appreciate the efforts you make on behalf of the Council as one of our senior advocates. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Stevens. Item 13.1, Assembly of Councillors Report. Someone to move that, please.
I'm happy to move
Councillor
that.
Marr.
I move that Council note and receive the attached Assembly of Councillor records for the period 27th of November 2023 to the 10th of December 2023.
And seconded by Councillor Rossetti. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Marr. Nothing to add? Thank you, Councillor Marr. Item 13.2, Audit and Risk Committee Minutes. Someone to move that, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Stevens.
I'm happy to do that. I would like to move that Council 1 receive and note the minutes in brief of the Audit and Risk Committee 30th of November 2023 as attached, and the confidential attachment Audit and Risk Committee minutes of 30th of November 2023, and 2, Council approve the suggested amendments to the Audit and Risk Committee Charter and terms of reference, and point 3 be taken as read as set out in the agenda.
And seconded by Councillor Wood. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Stevens.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. This is, of course, the report of the quarterly meeting of the Audit and Risk Committee, and of interest was the fact that the internal auditor presented a report on the workforce management procedures in Council. This is one of 2 or 3 reports the internal auditor is tasked to perform every year. We have a rolling program of basically about 4 or 5 years to look at a whole range of different processes within the Council, and that, of course, is the main task the internal auditor carries out. The Audit and Risk Committee is also tasked with reviewing the Strategic Risk Report of Council, and obviously the work that the Council staff is doing, very important in OC health and safety and risk management. And we now have 12 key strategic risks that are being monitored on a regular basis by the CEO and the corporate management team, and also by the Audit and Risk Committee. The Audit and Risk Committee also is tasked with reviewing important Council policies and basically is at each meeting now looking at perhaps two or three of the major council policies, and the two that were examined at the last meeting, the disposal of surplus council equipment, and also there'd been some major work done on updating the equal opportunity and anti-discrimination policy. So they were both looked at. And of course it's referred to in the actual recommendation, Mayor, that the Audit and Risk Committee did undertake some major changes which have been recommended for the Audit and Risk Charter, which is reviewed. Then the duties of the Audit and Risk Committee are reviewed each year. Another matter of interest, Mr Mayor, was the fact that the internal audit contract was up for negotiation, and the Audit and Risk Committee wasn't involved in actually the recommendation, but the Audit and Risk Committee was asked to have a look at the whole process that was followed in interviewing the applicants for the internal auditor's position. This contract was actually approved by the CEO under his standard delegation policy, the recommendation from the interview committee. But I'm very pleased to announce that H.L. Mann Judd have been reappointed as internal auditors, and so I congratulate H.L. Mann Judd on their reappointment, and I'm sure with all the other members of the Audit and Risk Committee, I look forward to working with them in the next term. I think their term is 3 or 4 years. I'm not actually 100% sure, but I think it's 3. I think it might be 3 years, Mr Mayor. So that basically is just a bit of a highlight of the issues at the Audit and Risk Committee. The committee continues to work well with our councillors, Councillor Murray, myself, and our independent members, Tony Smith, Sarah Heath, and under the chairmanship of our illustrious chair, Mr Chris Badger. Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Stevens. Item 13.3, adoption of reviewed council policies. Someone to move that, please.
I'm happy to move that. I move that Council revoke the existing council policies with a review date of December 2023 and adopt the updated council policies as attached.
And seconded by Councillor Stevens. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Mark.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Policies support good governance and are required to be reviewed due to legislative, strategic, planning and procedural amendments. All policies are available on the council website and all policies have a review date. There are 52 policies presented for adoption today. 11 have the CEO as responsible approver due to operational content. One policy has been revoked with regard to assessment of development in relation to sea level rise. One new policy is created, which is the authorisations and appointments policy, and there are 9 policies not included as the review date has yet to be reached. These will be presented when they become due. All policies, the details of the amendments can be provided in depth in the attachments and the background information, and it certainly is some really interesting reading. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Item 13.4, progress of Council Plan and Healthy Wellington Q1 2023/24. Someone to move that, please. Don't be shy.
I move the Council receive the attached update on progress for the 2021-2025 Council Plan for Q1 2023/2024.
And seconded by, I think Council Wood by a whisker for Councillor Stevens. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried.
There's so many initiatives in there, I can't go through them all, but I certainly recommend it to the public to have a read. It's worthwhile.
Thank you, Councillor Rossetti. Item 14.1, Quarterly Building Report, July to September 2023. Someone to move that, please.
I'll move.
Councillor Marr.
I move that Council note the report of building permits issued from the 1st of July 2023 to the 30th of September 2023.
And seconded by? Don't be shy. Thank you, Councillor Ripper. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is cancelled. It's carried. Councillor Marr.
Thank you, Mayor. Copies of the permits are provided to Council, and this information is that information recorded on the Register of Building Permits. The 1st of July to 30th of September saw 239 permits with a rough value of $49.7 million in comparison to the last quarter, which were 309 permits with a value of $59.2 million. The major projects include Catholic College School refurbs, construction at the Wellington Parkway Sale, a childcare centre development in Sale, development of warehousing at Ash Timber in Hayfield, and a new kinder building at Yarram that I know Councillor Stevens and I have been watching with much excitement, as I'm sure the rest of the community is also watching as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Item 14.2, monthly planning decision. Someone to move that, please.
I will move
Councillor
that.
Marr.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council note the report on recent planning permit trends and planning application determinations between the 1st of October and 31st of October 2023.
And seconded by Councillor Stevens. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Marr.
Thank you, Mayor. There's 43 decisions that have been made for the month of October. Buildings and works is still certainly going strong, as are the 2-lot subdivisions throughout the Shire. And this is another opportunity to say well done to our planning team over the last several months.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Item 14.3, Quarterly Strategic Land Use Planning Update, Report 4th Quarter 2023. Someone to move that, please.
And I'll move that as well.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Councillor Marr. You're very popular tonight.
I am very busy. I move that Council receive the 4th Quarterly Update on the Strategic Land Use Planning Work Programs, including the attachment 14.3.1, Current Strategic Planning Work.
And seconded by Councillor Crossley. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Marr.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll just run through the report that is found at attachment 1. I'll try and be brief. However, the strategic planning projects as listed include the West Sale Industrial Land Use Strategy, the technical report preparation, which is of high priority to Council. It involves the development of 55 hectares of industrial land to the east of West Sale Airport. The technical studies are nearing completion, and which I'm sure the planning team are happy with the preparation of a development plan for the industrial zoned land, which will commence in the 1st quarter of 2024. So that will be good news. The MAFRA structure plan implementation and development contributions is another high priority. Further discussions are still continuing with the Department of Transport and Planning in order to finalise the content of the amendment. So we certainly look forward to that result next year. Sale Western Growth Area Warwick Development Plan Infrastructure Contributions. A draft developer contributions plan is currently being finalised to equitably apportion the costs associated with key infrastructure items that are required to support the future development. Funding and procurement of public infrastructure works policy, another high priority to Council. Council officers are now considering alternate funding options and potential projects that includes one in Yarram and one in Warwick that have been identified, which could be considered for this funding. Discussions with the potential project proponents are continuing. The Renewable Energy Impact and Readiness Study has been completed and was adopted by Council at its meeting of the 21st of March 2023. A current state government funding bid has been lodged to undertake a drainage assessment of potential growth areas in Yarram as the first stage of investigation. This will be advanced in the first quarter of 2024, subject to the state government funding support, which we certainly will look forward to if that comes to plan. The Wellington Growth Management Strategy is of medium priority. SGS Economics and Planning have been appointed to undertake this strategy for Council. A draft strategy is due for completion in the first quarter of 2024 and will be released for community and stakeholder feedback when that is finalised. Development plans. The DP08, the rural living area bound by Williams Road, Willung, and Hoopers Road and Friends Road, Rosedale. They're awaiting the submission of updated information post-public notification period for review. And lastly, the DP014, which is the Summerhill Precinct Plan at Longford. Public notification period has commenced as of the 27th of November and has concluded on the 18th of December, and that information will come to Council when it has been sorted. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Item 15.1, Place Names Committee Minutes. Someone to move that, please.
Yes, Mayor. Thank you. I move that one, Council receive and note the minutes of the Place Names Committee meeting held on 14 November 2023. 2, the name Snowgum Road be extended from the proposed subdivision at 54 Tyson Road, Hayfield, to the adjacent proposed subdivision 76 Tyson Road. Excuse me. 3, the name Mullingarden Road be approved for subdivision at 38 Mill Lane, Rosedale. Sorry.
Take your time, Councillor Rossetti.
I wasn't coughing until I started talking. 4, a commemorative plaque to acknowledge forgotten Australians placed in institutional and out-of-home care, namely Kilmany Park Home for Boys, be installed at a suitable location within the reserved Coonahan Drive, Warwick, subject to agreement between Uniting and the Manager of Natural Environment and Parks.
And seconded by Councillor Marr. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Would you like to speak to that, Councillor Rossetti?
If I can get through it, man. I did want to acknowledge the plaque to the Kilmany Park Boys Home. For many, many years, that care was extended to orphans and such. I think we've become a lot better at looking after kids who are put in those positions nowadays. And I recall going to school with, as many would, with many of the kids who went through that boys' home. It's good to acknowledge because the boys and all people in that sort of institutional care were put into those positions for reasons typically not of their own doing in any way. And while the people at places like Kilmany Park were really the people looking after them were doing their best and looking at and caring for them, it still wasn't living in a family. And so acknowledging the fact that the kids had challenges that most of us who grew up in normal, healthy families didn't, it's a good thing. Yep.
Most certainly. Thank you, Councillor Rossetti. Item 15.2, Sale-Toongabbie Road Reconstruction, Winnindoo and Nambrok, Tender Award. Someone to move that, please.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Ripper.
I'd like to move 1, Council adopt the recommendations contained in the attached confidential tender evaluation report of the Council meeting agenda for contract 2024-051 Toongabbie, Sale-Toongabbie Road Reconstruction, Winnindoo and Nambrok. And I'll take para 2 as read.
And seconded by Councillor Wood. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. And before I head back to Councillor Ripper, I'd like to announce a successful tender as Fulton Hogan Industries Proprietary Limited. Congratulations. Councillor Ripper.
Thanks, Mayor. The section of the Sale-Toongabbie Road beginning to fail in multiple locations, as the relevant area out there that the people who live in that area, I'm sure, are well aware. The failures are beyond maintenance intervention, so several sections of the road have been reconstructed over the past couple of years. The works under the contract involve the reconstruction and widening of 3.2 kilometres of road between Rosedale Hayfield Road and Denison Road, 3.2 kilometres, and 3 kilometres of road between the Nambrok Road and the Macarthur Road, Rosedale Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ripper. Item 15.3, Sale-Cowwarr Road Reconstruction, Denison, Tender Award. Someone to move that, please.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Ripper.
I'd like to move 1, Council adopt the recommendations contained in the attached confidential tender evaluation report of the council meeting agenda for contract 2024-012 Sale-Cowwarr road reconstruction, and para 2 I'll take as read.
Thank you, Councillor Ripper. Is that seconded by Councillor Taddison? Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Before I head back to Councillor Ripper, I'd like to announce the successful tender as Fulton Hogan Industries Pty Limited. Congratulations. Councillor Ripper.
Thanks, Mayor. The Sale-Cowwarr road is beginning to fail in several locations, and in these locations is beyond maintenance intervention. The works under this contract involve the reconstruction and widening of the road between approximately 500 metres east of Morris Road to Anderson's Road, Denison and Winnindoo. The works involve reconstruction and sealing the pavement to a width of 6.2 metres. Works are planned over the next several years on the Sale-Cowwarr road to address the road condition, and this year's program of works involve more extensive rehabilitation of the pavement that was expected. This additional work will make use of surplus funds from the federal government's Road to Recovery program and are required to be expended this financial year. This funding became available when other projects were deferred for various reasons. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Ripper. Item 15.4, Desailly and Macarthur Street Roundabout Construction Tender Award. Someone to move that, please. Councillor Taddison.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council adopt the recommendations contained in the attached confidential tender evaluation report of the Council meeting agenda for contract 2024-053 Desailly Street and Macarthur Street Roundabout, and item 2 as written in the agenda.
And seconded by a whisker by Councillor Marr. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Before I hand back to Councillor Taddison, I'd like to announce the successful tender as Contour Construction Pty Limited. Congratulations. Councillor Taddison.
Thank you, Mayor. For anyone that's gone into either the Coles supermarket, any of the specialty shops or Bunnings over the last any number of 20-odd years, this intersection has regularly been blocked up. It's very difficult getting out of that car park area, and this roundabout will hopefully improve that traffic flow. There's been traffic studies done, and a roundabout is shown to be the best solution, so we really look forward to that, and hopefully a few of those minor dings and things will disappear. So congratulations for the staff on moving this project forward.
Thank you, Councillor Taddison. Item 15.5, Willung Road Reconstruction, Willung Tender Award. Someone to move that, please.
I'm happy, Mayor.
Don't both jump in. Councillor Rossetti.
Were you planning on doing it? You do it, Tat.
Councillor Taddison, go ahead.
All right, thank you. I move that Council adopt the recommendations contained in the attached confidential tender evaluation report of the Council meeting agenda for contract 2024-052 Willung Road Reconstruction, and item 2 is written.
And seconded by Councillor Crosley. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Before I go back to Councillor Taddison, I'd like to announce the successful tender as Fulton Hogan Industries Pty Limited. Congratulations, Councillor Taddison.
Thanks, Mayor. This contract is for Willung Road in the vicinity of Feely's Road and Taylor's Road. It's beginning to fail in a number of places, and it's beyond the capacity of our road maintenance teams to maintain. So as a result, we're now going to reconstruct it and renew the whole pavement, which will provide a more suitable surface for all our motorists.
Thank you, Councillor Taddison. Item 16.1, Fair Access Policy. Someone to move that, please. Councillor Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. I move that Council adopt the attached Fair Access Policy.
And seconded by Councillor Marr. Is that motion opposed? If not, that motion is carried. Councillor Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. The Fair Access Policy Roadmap is an Australian first policy that aims to give women and girls better and fairer access to community sports infrastructure. Fair access focuses on the development of gender equitable access and use policies. Just remember that equality is not negotiable, and it is very important that everyone be given a chance, fair and equitable chance to all of these policies. And on that, Wellington Council acknowledges that gender diverse people should be included in this as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Wood. Mr CEO, is there any online comments? No, and we have no one in the gallery. So one important thing that we like our residents to know is we live stream our council meetings, and it's great for people to get online and look at the meetings. We have one particular young lady named Ellen who watches every single council meeting online, and I congratulate people like Ellen for actually doing that. So there is a Santa hat coming your way. Thank you very much for participating in our council meetings. I would like now to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a safe New Year. Go and enjoy yourselves, have a great break, and may our community be safe. Thank you, everyone. We'll close the meeting at 5:55.